What happens when one of Hollywood's most beloved comedians walks into what should have been a routine morning talk show appearance, only to find himself face to face with a host who seems determined to tear him down on live television? What was expected to be a lighthearted promotional interview quickly turned into an explosive confrontation that had viewers talking long after the cameras stopped rolling. Adam Sandler had been making the usual rounds to promote his latest Netflix comedy. His publicist had lined up several appearances, and the view seemed like a straightforward stop, a chance to chat, share a few laughs, and introduce the film to a daytime audience. When Sandler walked onto the set, he carried his trademark relaxed energy. Dressed casually in a polo shirt and jeans, he greeted the audience with a smile and settled into his seat at the table. The crowd welcomed him warmly, and the conversation began with the expected pleasantries. Everything seemed normal until Joy Behar leaned forward. "Adam," she began, her tone immediately shifting the atmosphere, "I have to ask you about something that's bothered me for years." Sandler smiled cautiously. "Uh-oh, what did I do now?" "It's not what you did," Joy replied. "It's what you keep doing. Don't you think it's time you started making movies for adults instead of these juvenile comedies aimed at 12-year-old boys?" The other hosts exchanged uneasy glances. Whoopi Goldberg attempted to soften the moment with a laugh. "I think Adam's movies are fun for the whole family." But Joy wasn't backing down. "Come on, Whoopi," she said dismissively. "We're talking about a grown man who's built his career on bathroom humor and silly voices. When is enough enough?" For a brief moment, Sandler's smile faded. Years of dealing with criticism had taught him how to stay calm. But this felt different. It felt personal. You know, Joy," he said carefully, "I've been making movies for over 20 years, and I'm pretty proud that they make people laugh. Isn't that what comedy is supposed to do?" "But at what cost?" Joy shot back. "You've made millions dumbing down entertainment. Don't you feel any responsibility to use your platform for something more meaningful?" The tension in the studio became impossible to ignore. The other panelists looked increasingly uncomfortable as the exchange intensified. Sandler took a slow breath. His easygoing demeanor began to fade, replaced by a more serious determination. "Meaningful?" he repeated. "You want to talk about meaningful? I've provided jobs for thousands of people over the years. I've made movies that bring families together. I've created characters that people still quote decades later. That sounds pretty meaningful to me." Joy scoffed openly. "Oh, please. Spare me the humanitarian speech. You make lowbrow garbage and you know it. The only reason Netflix keeps funding your movies is because they're cheap to make and people will watch anything." The audience fell silent. Something changed in Sandler's expression. His patience had clearly reached its limit. "You know what, Joy?" he said, his voice now carrying a firmness that surprised everyone. "I've been sitting here listening to you attack my career, my choices, and basically everything I've worked for my entire life. And I have to ask, what exactly is your problem with me?" Joy seemed energized by the confrontation. "My problem is that you represent everything that's wrong with Hollywood," she replied. "You take the easy way out. You cater to the lowest common denominator and pretend it's art." Sandler fired back immediately. "And you think sitting behind this desk taking shots at people makes you better than me? At least when I make people laugh, I'm not tearing someone else down to do it." The room grew even more tense. Whoopi tried desperately to redirect the conversation. "Maybe we should talk about the new movie." But Joy wasn't finished. "Let's talk about the new movie," she said. "It's just another version of the same formula, isn't it? Put Adam in a ridiculous situation, surround him with his friends, throw in some slapstick comedy and call it a day." To everyone's surprise, Sandler stood up from his chair. The audience gasped. The cameras immediately focused on him as he looked directly at Joy. "You haven't even seen the movie," he said quietly. His calm tone was somehow more intimidating than if he had shouted. The entire studio seemed to freeze as the confrontation reached a level nobody had expected when the interview began. Note: this reads like a dramatized or fictionalized entertainment narrative. Unless verified by reliable sources, it should not be treated as a factual account of an actual interview or event. Adam shook his head slowly, disbelief written across his face. "Honest criticism?" he repeated. "Honest criticism requires honesty. Joy, you admitted you haven't even seen the movie. You decided what it was before you knew anything about it. That's not criticism. That's prejudice dressed up as expertise. The audience reacted with a mixture of applause and nervous murmurs. The atmosphere in the studio had shifted completely. What was supposed to be a light, promotional interview had turned into an uncomfortable public confrontation. Joy folded her arms tightly across her chest. "Don't lecture me about expertise," she snapped. "I've spent decades analyzing entertainment and culture. I know exactly what audiences are being fed, and I'm tired of celebrities pretending they're making art when they're really just selling distractions." Adam nodded thoughtfully. "Distractions aren't always a bad thing," he replied. "Sometimes people have hard days. Sometimes they're struggling with work, family bills, or things nobody else knows about. Sometimes they just want to laugh for 2 hours and forget about their problems. If my movies help someone do that, I'm proud of it." The audience applauded loudly. Joy rolled her eyes. "That's a convenient excuse. You're acting like making silly comedies is some kind of public service." "No," Adam answered calmly. "I'm saying entertainment matters. Making people smile matters. Making families laugh together matters. Maybe not to you, but it matters to a lot of people." The exchange had become impossible to ignore. Even the other hosts appeared increasingly uncomfortable. Whoopi tried once again to redirect the discussion. "Maybe we should talk about the film itself," she suggested. But Joy wasn't ready to move on. "The film isn't the point," she said sharply. "The point is that Hollywood keeps rewarding mediocrity." Adam let out a short laugh. "See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You already decided what the movie is without watching it. You already decided what kind of person I am without asking a single real question. This was never an interview." "And what exactly was it?" Joy challenged. "A lecture," Adam replied. "A lecture from someone who made up her mind before I walked through the door." The audience reacted again, some applauding while others sat in stunned silence. Joy's expression hardened. "You think you're the victim here?" "No," Adam said. "I think I'm the guest." That line landed harder than anything he had said all morning. The table fell silent. Adam continued. "I came here expecting a conversation. I came here expecting questions about the movie, the work that went into it, the people who helped make it. Instead, you've spent this entire segment telling me why my career shouldn't exist." Joy opened her mouth to respond, but Adam wasn't finished. "You know what's funny? Critics have been saying the same things about my movies for years. Yet audiences keep watching them. Not because they're being tricked. Not because they're stupid. Because they enjoy them." The audience erupted into applause. "You can dislike my work," Adam added. "That's your right. But acting like the millions of people who enjoy it are somehow wrong for enjoying it, that's not criticism. That's arrogance." The room went quiet again. Even Joy seemed momentarily unsure how to respond. For the first time since the confrontation began, the energy had shifted away from anger and toward reflection. Adam adjusted his chair and looked around the table. "Here's the thing," he said. "Nobody has to love my movies. Nobody has to think they're masterpieces. But if you're going to criticize something, at least have enough respect to understand it first." The audience responded with sustained applause. Whoopi finally seized the opportunity to regain control. "Okay," she said with a relieved smile. "Now that we've all shared our feelings, let's actually talk about the movie." A wave of laughter swept through the studio, breaking some of the tension. Adam smiled for the first time in several minutes. "Sounds good to me," he said. Whether the damage had already been done was another question entirely. But for the moment, the conversation had finally found its way back to where it was supposed to begin. "This isn't honest criticism, Joy. This is a hit job. You decided before I walked in here that you were going to tear me apart. And when I didn't just sit there and take it, you got angry. I got angry because you're everything that's, wrong with entertainment today." Joy fired back. "You're proof that talent doesn't matter anymore. That you can coast on mediocrity and still become rich and famous." The insult was so blatant, so personal, that even Whoopi couldn't stay neutral. "Joy, that's enough." But Joy was beyond reason. "No, it's not enough. Someone needs to say what everyone in this industry is thinking. Adam Sandler is a hack who got lucky and has been riding that luck for 2 decades. The studio went dead silent. You could hear the cameras moving and crew members shifting positions, but not a single voice from the audience. Adam stared at Joy for what felt like an eternity. When he finally spoke, his voice was quiet but firm. "You know what, Joy? You're right about one thing. Someone does need to say what everyone is thinking. So here it is. You're a bitter, mean-spirited person who gets satisfaction from making other people feel small. You hide behind the label of journalism, but really, you're just a bully with a microphone. Joy's mouth fell open. In all her years of hosting, no guest had ever spoken to her like that. How dare you? How dare I? Tell the truth? Defend myself when you're attacking me? You can dish it out, but you can't take it. Is that it? The studio erupted into chaos. Joy stepped closer, her finger jabbing the air between them. You don't get to come on my show and call me a bully. I'm holding you accountable for your mediocrity. Your show again? Adam replied calmly. Interesting how you keep calling it that when there are 4 other women sitting at this table. Do they get a say in how things are run? Or is this really just the Joy Behar Power Trip Hour? Sunny Hostin finally spoke up. Joy, maybe we should move on to something else. Joy spun toward her. Don't you dare undermine me in front of this guest. I'm not undermining you, Sunny replied. I'm trying to save this interview before it gets completely out of hand. It's already out of hand, Alyssa Farah Griffin muttered under her breath, though her microphone picked it up. Joy immediately turned toward her. Excuse me? Did you have something to say, Alyssa? Adam watched the scene unfold with a mixture of disbelief and frustration. Wow, Joy, you're really going to attack your own co-hosts now? Is there anyone in this building you're not angry with today? I'm angry at you, Joy snapped. I'm angry that talentless hacks like you make, millions while real. Artists struggle for recognition. Real artists? Adam laughed incredulously. Let me ask you something, Joy. When was the last time you created anything? When was the last time you wrote something, performed something, or built something from nothing? All you do is tear down what other people create. I don't need to create garbage to recognize garbage when I see it. But you do need to actually see it, Adam shot back. You admitted you haven't watched my new movie. You're attacking something you know nothing about based on your own assumptions. That's not criticism. That's ignorance. The word ignorance pushed Joy over the edge. Get out! She screamed, pointing toward the exit. Get out of my studio right now. Adam looked around at the other hosts, all of whom appeared mortified. Your studio? I thought this was ABC's studio. Get out, get out. Get out! Joy shouted repeatedly. Whoopi stood up, trying to regain control. Joy, you need to calm down right now. Don't tell me to calm down, Joy snapped back. Adam's voice cut through the chaos. I disrespected you? You've spent this entire interview attacking my career, my choices, and my character, and somehow I'm the disrespectful one? You're completely delusional. Security, Joy yelled toward the wings. Get security in here right now. The audience watched in stunned silence. Some people reached for their phones. Others simply stared in disbelief. Adam shook his head. You know what, Joy? I actually feel sorry for you. You're so consumed by anger and bitterness that you can't have a normal conversation without turning it into a personal attack. Don't you dare pity me. Someone like me? Adam replied. You mean someone who spent a career making people laugh instead of tearing people down? Yeah, I guess we are different that way. Security personnel began moving toward the set, though they seemed uncertain about what they were supposed to do. Sarah Haynes made one last attempt to calm things down. Maybe we could all take a step back and remember we're on live television. Joy laughed bitterly. Oh, I know exactly where we are. We're on television, where this hack gets to promote his latest piece of garbage while pretending to be the victim. Adam looked directly into the camera. Ladies and gentlemen, you're witnessing what happens when someone's ego becomes more important than professionalism, when personal hostility overrides basic courtesy. Don't you dare turn this around on me, Joy shouted. You're the one who came in here with an attitude. I came here to talk about my movie, Adam replied. You're the one who made it personal from the very first question. Whoopi finally stepped between them. Both of you need to stop this right now. This is completely unprofessional. Joy rounded on her. He started it by refusing to answer my legitimate questions. Legitimate questions? Adam said. You called my life's work garbage before I said a single word about the movie. How is that legitimate? The security team finally reached the set, still unsure how to handle the situation. One of them looked toward the producers, who appeared equally stunned. Adam looked around at the chaos, the angry faces, the uncomfortable hosts, and the shocked audience and made his decision. You know what? You're right about one thing, Joy. I should leave. Not because you're kicking me out, but because I have better things to do than stand here and be verbally abused by someone who's clearly lost all perspective. Lost all perspective? Joy shouted. You're the one who can't handle honest criticism. Adam was already walking toward the exit. He stopped and turned back one final time. Honest criticism requires honesty, Joy. All you've shown today is hostility. As he continued toward the stage exit, Joy shouted after him, but her words were drowned out by the noise spreading through the studio. The audience sat frozen, the host looked exhausted, and the atmosphere felt irreparably broken. Adam left without another word, while the cameras continued rolling on a scene that no one in the studio had expected when the interview began.